And good morning. Welcome to this post-election edition of the K-Files. Sandra's out today. With me, we've got my good friend, Freddy Howell. Congratulations on your victory over Dan Cohn in the Republican primary. Congratulations on a hard-fought but good-fought, primary election. How does it feel?
Very humbling. Very humbling. Just a lot of outpouring support and just thankful.
I know you had a lot of support across southern Nash County. Give us a brief introduction to anybody that might be tuning in this morning who doesn't know the Freddy Howell that I know.
So my history basically is I was been in home improvement for basically all my life. Worked at Ace Hardware when I was 16 till I was 18, and then went into Lowe's Home Improvement and had a career there for 25 years with them. Retired from there, and my wife's lifelong goal was to start up and carry on the family tradition as far as farming. So we've got a farming business there at the house. We do ornamentals and vegetable transplants and vegetable plants that we harvest the fruit off of and vegetables in the greenhouses. And then of course we raise strawberries, and we sell ornamental plants as well. Been doing that now for probably about 12, 13 years. We've been a long-standing vendor at the Rocky Mount Farmers Market for Nash County. I think that's been 12 plus years we've been there.
Do y'all always have the same spot at the farmers market here in Rocky Mount?
We do. We're in the first two booths in the second building. So if you go in building 2, we're the first 2 as soon as you get in the door on the right there.
Okay, all right. I know I was in here talking to Sandra, I don't know, 6, 8 months ago, and things were just starting to take off for you. And she's like, "Oh my God, I know his daughters. I buy my produce from them." I mean, she hadn't made the connection.
Yeah, Sarah's the face at the farmers market in Rocky Mount now, and of course my cousin Lisa, she's there as well.
Okay.
And then we partnered with Rob Glover from Bailey, and he has a booth there with us as well.
Okay, all right. And so y'all just kind of bounce off each other as far as local produce goes.
We do.
So like if he has something that's maybe in season that you don't, you kind of help.
We focus on the early season with the stuff in the greenhouses before the climate gets right for us to grow outside here, and then after the climate gets warm, we rely on him.
I know that by you running, one thing that was near and dear to you was public safety, first responders, law enforcement, things like that. So a little bit about what we do here on the K-Files. We kind of partner with Team Cold Case. We talk about cases from Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson, Halifax County that have not been solved, that deal with homicide or missing persons. We come on TV once a week live. We talk about any updates from cold cases, and we offer cash rewards of up to $15,000. We basically try to partner with local law enforcement. Usually once a month, Nash County Sheriff's Office comes on, Rocky Mount Police Department comes on, Edgecombe comes on, sometimes Halifax. And we talk about cold cases. We try just to get a little bit of momentum or movement in a case. You never know that one little tip that will lead to solving a cold case. But that's what we do. We kind of partner with WIG, and we just try to bring closure to families and bring these criminal elements in our community to justice. But that's kind of what we do. And we thought it would be fitting to have you on, especially since you were endorsed by Nash County Sheriff Keith Stone. You have an outpouring of support amongst law enforcement, first responders, EMS. You've been a loud vocal voice at the Nash County Commissioners meeting for a while, talking about the lack of EMS coverage in the southern Nash County area. And a lot of people might think, well, that's southern Nash County. How does that affect me in Red Oak? Well, it does affect you in Red Oak.
Affects everybody.
Because if we don't have EMS coverage in southern Nash County and there's an EMS call and Red Oak has to respond to Bailey or Middlesex, the taxpayers in Red Oak don't have EMS coverage in that moment.
That's correct.
So it affects it's not just a southern Nash County issue.
No, it's a whole county issue.
And I didn't know about, and I'm retired law enforcement. I did not know these things were going on until you brought it to light. And thank you for that. And to the public that may not know, in full disclosure, and I've told Sandra this, we are family. You married my first cousin. We've known each other for a long, long, long time.
A long time.
When you came to me back in the summer and said, JP, I'm thinking about running for county commissioner, can you help me? And I think we talked about me being your campaign manager, and I said, look, I will, but on one condition. Let me be painfully honest with you about everything. If you ask me my opinion about something, be prepared for me to tell you my opinion. And I want to say thank you for listening. One thing that impressed me right out of the gate with you, when we were talking, you were like, I don't want this to be about me. I want to bring in and meet with the mayor of Spring Hope. I want to bring in and meet with the mayor of Bailey. I want to bring in and involve the mayor of Middlesex. Not so much that they support me, but I want to know what their issues are. I want to be their voice. I want us to meet regularly so that I can be well informed, so that when I am elected, or if I'm elected, I know the issues firsthand facing and that really impressed me. It really did. It told me a lot about your leadership style without you even explaining it. And that is, you're one of these people that you want to be inclusive, that it ain't about you. It's not about recognition for you. It's genuinely about bringing attention to the issues for Southern Nash County and getting them addressed. And I appreciate it. What kind of drew you out to run?
So I guess it's obviously the first responder issues that we've been seeing. That's concerning. We're seeing the growth. Anybody in Nash County, especially on the southern end, if you've been out and about, you've seen the change. And growth is inevitable. It's going to happen. But we need smart growth. And some of the growth that's happened, I think, we just threw it out there and it stuck. And I started looking into some of the issues. Why do we do the things that we did? And some of the things come to light. I mean, when you look at the permits, like last year, 2023, there was 432 permits pulled in Nash County. 171 were in Bailey, 97 were in Nashville, 111 in Spring Hope, 79 in Middlesex, and 41 in Rocky Mount for the Nash County side.
So basically, almost half of the permits were in Bailey.
Yes. And the problem in Bailey is it's been on a 21-year moratorium, meaning unless you already had an existing sewer hookup, you can't build anything in the city limits of Bailey that requires water and sewer, because they have a moratorium in place because of the limitations with their sewer system. And that's constraining the citizens of Bailey, and it's also impacting the citizens outside the city limits of Bailey. Because of that, the growth is still coming, but now instead of the town growing, we're actually taking up farmland and utilizing that land for additional houses. But at the same time, the people's coming in, we don't have the additional infrastructure to support those people in the city limits.
And
because
see,
we can't grow.
This is where I get involved, because the K-Files is law enforcement driven, we're case driven, public safety, things like that. With these people pouring into Southern Nash County, the sheriff is struggling with filling vacant positions at the sheriff's office, okay? EMS being closed. People in Southern Nash County picking the phone up, dialing 911, regardless if they need a deputy or if they need a rescue squad. They don't have the resources. Now, they're bending over backwards trying to lure these people into the county and build and develop, clearly. Okay, but they're not allowing the sheriff to fill his vacancies. They're not keeping EMS staff. This is where I had an issue with it. It does affect law enforcement. It does affect first responders. it does affect crime, you know. 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you pick the phone up, you need a deputy at your home. Okay, 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes is a long time. If you're experiencing a chest pain and you live in Bailey and you need a rescue squad, and for whatever reason that rescue squad isn't available, it's a long drive from Spring Hope to Bailey. It's a long drive to have a rescue respond and from my point, it's unacceptable. I didn't know until you ran that we were having to rely on Wilson County EMS to spill over to respond to calls in Nash County. I didn't know that. I didn't know we were having to pull from Johnston County to come over to provide EMS coverage to Southern Nash County. I didn't know that Wake County was having to provide. I didn't know this. And so I just want to say thank you again for
and we've got great staff.
We do, yeah. This has nothing to do with the sheriff. Has nothing to do with the EMS people.
Yeah, EMS call center employees. They're all correctional officers. They're all great people. They do a good job. It's just that we're growing, and other counties are experiencing growth as well, and they've stepped up and they've increased the starting salaries for those individuals in those areas, and it's a sought after area. It's the same thing in healthcare now. We're struggling in healthcare as well. If you look at that, to get the spots filled, so they're having to increase the pay. And what's happened is the other areas have responded. Even the state, I think the Highway Patrol's fixing to go up on theirs.
Yeah, I believe the Highway Patrol. There's legislation to raise top, just regular trooper pay to $105,000 a year.
Yeah. So it's a different environment now from what they experienced. And, if you stay in Bailey or you stay in Nashville and you're having to drive back and forth to these areas, and, there's a $10,000 or $15,000 difference in starting out salaries in these areas, you're going to go where you can benefit your family the most. And everyone that I've talked to that has left loves Nash County. But they're all experiencing the same thing. All of us are. Inflation is going up, our grocery bills are going up, cost of living is going up, and they need to take care and provide for their family. And you can't fault an individual for bettering themselves and taking care of their family. So, and we're losing them.
Yeah.
We've lost 50% just in the EMS team in the last 3 years.
So if you had to put a number on that, just a number on how many people, not a percent, but people that we've lost in 2 years in EMS, if you had to just...
Well, it's 50% in 3 years, and so I think there's 110 in the EMS department. So that's 50 people that we've lost.
And you stop and think, so you're talking 150 people, roughly.
110.
110.
Yeah, 110
okay.
staff.
Stop and think about how much Nash County taxpayers spent training them, outfitting them with uniforms, getting them the experience that they need, getting them comfortable taking calls for service. I would dare say you're talking $15,000, $20,000 per person.
It's a big investment for the county to get those new, and that's what we've got. We've got a lot of new individuals now, which is good. And a lot of them have actually gone to school on their own to better themselves and their career. I think we just had 13 that have graduated and taken extra courses to move themselves up in their certifications. But my concern on that is, in talking to some of the people in EMS, is that they're looking jobs other places as well. So to your point, we've got them trained, they've worked here, they've got their certifications, and now they're going to look to go somewhere else.
And then from a Nash County taxpayer standpoint, we're going to turn right around and bring somebody else in and spend another $20,000 training them.
And our training officers are so busy because we're so short-staffed, they're not able to do their job like they need to do the training, because they're tied up running vehicles and instead filling in where we have shortages. It's just a vicious cycle.
And it's a waste of money. You'd be better off raising that salary, adjusting that salary.
And they've done a pay study already, and now they've come out and said they want to do another pay study.
No,
but
it doesn't take a rocket scientist to...
It's a phone call. Pick up the phone and call your surrounding counties, and in 15 minutes you can find out what the starting pay is. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on another study. We just need to raise the pay.
Common sense, man.
Make
Just-
it
just-
comparable to the areas around us, to where they can do their job, and they won't. Once we spend the money on training, they won't leave and go somewhere else.
Political background, political experience, anything?
I have run no office before. I'm not a politician. I keep up with it like everyone else, and I'm realizing as I get older that your local government impacts you the most,
That's
and that's
right.
one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved. Not so much for me, but for my family and friends, and I just want to leave it better than we found it, so
Yep.
to speak, and make it better.
You know, that's a Boy Scout saying, that you want to leave things better than you found it. When you go camping, you put up a tent, you make a campsite, you pack up, a few days later, you leave. I used to hear my scoutmaster say all the time, we want to see this spot. We want to leave it better than we found it. Speaking of Boy Scouts, for those that don't know, you're an Eagle Scout.
I am.
That tells you a lot about someone's character, because you are objective driven, and you're also you're project driven, and you like to see things through to completion. So glad to see that you were I remember when my mother told me that you were an Eagle Scout, and it has always stuck with me. I know that you and Nash County Sheriff Keith Stone have hit it off. I know he thinks the absolute world of you. I know he endorsed you, and he went all out for you.
He did. Very supportive.
Yeah.
Very thankful for that.
Yeah. He made TV commercials for you. I know he did, radio commercials for you. Almost every meet and greet, he was there for you.
He was there.
That is very impressive. That's something alone to be proud of. What are your top priorities?
First responders, obviously. We need to get the resources and support to support them, because the growth is still coming. We talked about the permits that were pulled already, and we already know Middlesex has got 120 new homes they're fixing to bring in one subdivision in town, and there's another 200 coming in another one. So the county just approved another 47 outside of Bailey. So we've got quite a few more permits coming, and as you mentioned, when you pick up the phone and call 911, you need the response. It can't be a shortage in those areas. So we need our call center staffed. We need our law enforcement staffed. The new jail, that's another soapbox in itself altogether that's been in the past, but that's been complete, and it's already at full capacity. So we've got issues there we're going to have to address in the future as well.
Well, let's stop right there, and we'll pick up on this when we come back. We're going to take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. I'm with Freddy Howell. He recently won the Republican primary in District 3 against incumbent Dan Cone. Again, congratulations on that. Before we went to break, you were talking about the Nash County Jail situation.
It's they've got the new jail completed, and they've moved the inmates over, and they're at full capacity right now. So it's already full.
And you know, Alan Chesser played a role in the recently with helping the sheriff secure additional funds for the sheriff. Alan Chesser, what's your take on him?
Well, been very impressive for his first session for us, especially in Nash County. I mean, he's brought us back. Him and Lisa worked together, and they brought us back $55 million.
Plus 44 school, almost $100 million.
So that's a lot to be
Yeah.
first term. And again, it went to Nash County right here locally, so it's in that's money the taxpayers don't have to spend.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a huge impact.
I met Alan a few years ago. He used to come in to pit stop there in Middlesex, stop in the morning, kind of get a cup of coffee, stand around and talk, and he would meet with the Middlesex mayor, stand around and talk with your dad and other people, and he impressed me. And this was before I even knew I didn't know him. I didn't know he was running for NC House. Hit it off, got to know him, found out he was retired law enforcement. I've been around politics all my adult life. I've never seen anyone deliver especially a first-term House representative like Alan Chesser. Now, he delivered.
It's impressive.
The thing that kind of took me by surprise was, his first time running, he had to work. He had to work for it, and he did it. He beat an incumbent, and from my point of view, with a little help, from others. And I'm just going to say from others. And I thought, with as much as he's done for Nash County, with as much as he's delivered for Nash County, and again, as it incorporates into this show, he is a big supporter of public safety. Mm-hmm. He's a former law enforcement officer. He's a veteran. He has done tremendous things for law enforcement, helped Middlesex get a fire truck, helped several departments get a fire truck. Mm-hmm. Every fire department in Nash County that said, Representative Chesser, we need this, they got it. They got it. Yes, there were some departments that didn't kind of reach out to him and say, hey, we need this, or, the sheriff reached out to him and said, hey, I need this. He got it. He helped secure some funding for Viper, which is kind of like the Highway Patrol's baby, which is statewide communications. He helped the county with that. Anyway, I was disappointed that he had to work as hard as I had to watch him work again to be reelected. From your point of view, did you see that?
I did. You would have thought, as much as he brought back to the county, that other political officials in the county would have recognized that and got on board and helped support him, because he's bringing stuff back to the county with no strings attached, and which is tremendous impact to the county and helps us on our budget and helps the citizens of Nash County. But that really didn't seem to be the case.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Representative Chesser, if you're watching, just know the people, we know what you did. We appreciate what you do, and congratulations on your win. And we look forward to working with you for another 2 years. I know that there was 5 mayors that come out right out the gate and said, "This is our man. Mm-hmm. This is who we want to support." And again, it's results driven. These mayors had established a relationship with Alan. They saw him.
It's all about building a team.
That's right. It's all about, you build the right team, your people are going to come to your defense every time. Look at your situation. Election day, I witnessed this. How many people did you have turn out that came to you and said, we want to help you election day?
We had about a 25-person team out at the polls.
Yeah.
So it was very...
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. For a county commissioner, that's impressive. I know I saw some little shenanigans. I saw a lot of misinformation and downright lies about candidates this time. And I'm not talking about in your race, or I'm just talking about in general being told at the polls. I don't care if it was for Congress. I don't care if it was for NC. I don't care what to see. I saw a lot of lies. And it's hard to counter a lie, because if it's a lie already, how do you counter it? How do you combat that? You know what I mean?
You've really got to be an informed voter to stay in time. And unfortunately, our national media doesn't do anything. They've kind of spurred this on. They do a lot of this as well. I don't think the media is as investigative as it once was on a playing field across all the media platforms. And so you really have to do your homework, and you really have to ask questions and get involved and educate yourself.
Yeah. That's why I had some people reach out to me. Look, I know Sandy Smith. I've got good friends of mine on the patrol that love her to death. I like her as a person. I've supported her in the past, and I'm just going to use this as an example. And I was going to support Sandy until Laura Buckout came to Middlesex, a month ago? And she met with She made a point to meet with several town mayors. She took questions from people there in town. I was and I thought sitting there, I was like, she's got my vote. And people were like, well, she ain't from here. She wasn't born in North Carolina. Well, neither was Donald Trump, but I voted for him. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, what has that got to do with anything? She was just very, very impressed. I was impressed with her delivery. I believe you were there. What was your take on her?
Well, and your point about her location or where she's at, she's been in the military all of her life pretty much. I mean, dedicated to serving our country, and with that comes moving around.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask of a family, to pick up, move around. And both her parents were in the military as well, so that's all she's known.
I had somebody come to me and they said, man, she worked under Bill Clinton. She served Bill Clinton. I said, okay.
So
I worked in the highway patrol under Roy Cooper. I served the citizens of North Carolina under Roy Cooper. He, in a chain of command scenario, he's my boss. It has nothing to do with, do I identify with his politics or what he believes in? And it's like I told them, I said, listen to these commercials. Listen to them real good what they're saying. Yeah, she served under Bill Clinton. She didn't have a choice in the matter other than to resign. I could have quit under Beverly Perdue.
The fact that you can work for both speaks volumes, because
that's exactly
you're able
right.
to adapt and take care of the citizens still and be able to serve a Republican or Democrat.
Mm-hmm. And I just tried to get them to understand, listen to listen to the words. They said, well, she supported changing the name of Fort Bragg. I said, yeah, that's not what that commercial says. Listen to it. Listen to what it says.
A play on words, is that?
It is a play on word, and they say it so fast, you don't catch it. But folks, be an informed voter, not just now, but come fall of the year. I'll tell you something else I saw. I worked early voting over in Nashville, and you'd be surprised at the number of Republicans that would come by me and say, I am not voting for Mark Robinson. And I'd say, okay, tell me why. I mean, help me understand why. Well, I'm just not. And if he gets the nomination, I'm voting for Josh Stein. That blows my mind. And don't get me wrong, I mean, vote for whoever, you have that right.
Choose who you want.
But they, number one, they made a point to let you know they're Republican. They make a point to tell you who they're not going to vote for. And then they make a point. So I asked one guy, I said, okay, I mean, I get you. I said, who did you vote for a few years ago? I voted for Joe Biden. And it just, I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, that being said, I saw a lot of things during early voting that I didn't like. And this has nothing to do with party, it has to do with public safety. And that is, I saw people being followed to their car. I saw cars pulling in to vote, and poll workers pulling on door handles. Number one, it's illegal. And it's a public safety issue, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, in southern end of this county, you pull on the wrong person's door handle and you're going to have a problem. Am I lying?
Oh, yeah.
That is...
Some of them were very aggressive.
And
a lot of them were already unhappy because they couldn't vote in the southern end of the county. They had to go to the Ag Center to do it.
There was a lot of people mad over that. A lot of people were mad that the early voting site in southern Nash County was closed.
And that was not a Governor Cooper's decision, which was some misinformation that was out there. That was a Nash County decision that was made. So I hope they change that in the future, and I hope we do have an early voting site in the southern end of the county, because it is a big inconvenience for the citizens in the southern end of the county to have to drive all the way to Nashville, 25-minute drive, to get there to be able to exercise their right.
It is, yeah. And I had a lot of folks call me and say, JP, what's up with this? We've always been able to vote early, either in Mount Pleasant,
Spring Hope.
or Spring Hope. When they were doing building and some remodeling and stuff there in the Mount Pleasant community at those buildings, they shifted it 1 or 2 election cycles up to Spring Hope, but you could still vote early in the southern end of the county. People from Bailey are not going to get in their car and drive to Nashville just to vote early. So I hope that is something that's, my thing is this: if you've got funds available to make early voting available in Rocky Mount, you can have a spot.
And that's not a Republican or Democrat.
No, it's not.
Just the access for everybody.
But it feeds this perception in southern Nash County that we always get the short end of the stick. It just feeds into that. Regardless if there's any truth to it, regardless if it was intentional or not, it feeds into it. Here we are getting short end of the stick, of coverage, EMS coverage, law enforcement coverage, and now when it's the day for our voice to be heard, we find out, oh, and by the way, your early voting site, yeah, it ain't happening. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're going to take a quick break and pay a few bills, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. I'm here with Freddy Howell this morning, the Republican nominee for Nash County Commissioner District 3. Freddie, I know you've got a farm, you have a booth or two at the farmers market here in Rocky Mount. Where's your place located at back towards Middlesex, for those who want to come out and kind of see your operation?
So we're on Massey Road. We're located basically right between Middlesex and Zebulon. Massey Road splits. And so we're at 4371 Massey Road. Zebulon address, but like I said, it's Nash County, and we're right there on Massey Road, right in between Middlesex, and we're located between 264 Alternate and Highway 97.
And I know y'all had your seasonal grand opening last Saturday. I know the Big Dog was there.
Yep.
Give away hundreds of hot dogs. It was a big
event to be
big
this early
event.
in the year. We were very pleased.
You got ice cream. You got a little bit of everything. Ice cream. What's the Scuppernong icy slushy?
Muscadine grape slushies and the apple cider slushies. Perry Lowe Orchard in the mountains of North Carolina. We get the cider, they make it homemade. And then we work with Lou Mills down out below Fayetteville down there. They do the grape muscadine for us, and we make that and put it in slushies. We've got 18 different varieties of ice cream we carry, homemade ice cream.
I know I come by and there was cars everywhere. It looked like your parking lot was full. They had parked around your house. They had parked in your front yard. I mean, it was crazy. It looks like you had a crowd of people there.
Everybody likes a Carolina Packer hot dog.
That's exactly right. Well, Freddie, what we're going to do is we're going to jump in here and talk about a case real quick. Jameer Whitaker. This case is from January 12th, 2008. Jameer Whitaker's life was cut short around 8:30 p.m. when his house was shot on 2805 Pelham Road in Rocky Mount. His father was shot twice and recovered from his injuries, but Jameer was shot and died at the hospital. Witnesses say a person run to the dark green or blue late model 4-door Ford Taurus with tinted windows just after the shots were fired. Police called it an attempted robbery. Again, Jameer Whitaker, young child, murdered 1/12/2008, 2805 Pelham Road in Rocky Mount. Folks, if you know anything about this case, please, there's a reward of up to $25,000 for this particular case. Please make that anonymous tip. Reach out to Rocky Mount Police Department, 252-406-6736. Text a tip. Reach out to us. Reach out to, Team Cold Case. Anyone can help you with a tip. Share what you know. Let's bring closure to this family. And more importantly, this criminal that perpetrated this crime, let's get them the justice that they deserve. It's sad to know that people like this are amongst us. They live in our communities, and I truly believe that, you know, criminals like this, they don't just randomly pop up and do violence like this and then repent and change their life tomorrow. I believe they do it over and over and over again until they're caught. You know, we see it now in our community. You know, people who tend to break in, they're not just going to break in one house and never do it again. They go on rampages. They'll hit 2 or 3 houses in a day. They'll hit dozens of houses in a week. You need to identify them, get them off the street, and get them locked up. It's just sad. It makes, you know, when you see that young child on TV and you think about laying in a crib or laying in a bed, completely innocent.
Whole life in front of them.
Yeah, whole life in front of them. And
short.
Killed over nothing. The book says attempted. It was thought to be an attempted robbery. Killed over nothing.
And you just feel so sorry for the family.
Yeah.
Anytime you have to bury a child.
And you know, law enforcement in a patrol car, law enforcement in a uniform on patrol, okay? If a Rocky Mount police officer or a Nash County deputy had driven by this house on preventative patrol moments before this happened, and this bad guy saw it, do you think he would have gone up there and attempted robbery?
Most likely not.
That's right. I firmly believe that presence of law enforcement prevents crime.
It's a deterrent.
And this goes back to why, you know, you ran for county commissioner. It is to prevent crime. You know, giving the sheriff the resources he needs, ensuring that Rocky Mount has the resources they need to put presence of law enforcement in the streets to prevent crime. And should a crime occur, you need that staff available to work this crime, to bring these people to justice. It's a domino effect. It's all tied, it's all linked. It's linked together. But folks, if you know anything, please reach out to Rocky Mount Police Department, share that tip, and help this family. All right, we're going to talk about another case. This case is from March the 3rd, 2008. Falsey Nawaz. Officers responded to 705 Black Creek Road Southeast in Wilson, North Carolina in reference to a robbery of a business. The suspects dragged Nawaz, N-A-W-A-S, behind the store and assaulted him. He was able to get back in the store after the assault and he collapsed. He was transported to Wake Medical Center for treatment, where he later died. Now, he died as a result of the assault. And let's just say that he died because, let's just say he had a heart attack. That's still murder, because he died as a result of the assault itself. Folks, if you know anything about this assault that took place 705 Black Creek Road Southeast in Wilson, North Carolina on March the 3rd, 2008, please reach out to Wilson. We'll pay you up to $15,000 in cash just for your information, not upon a conviction, just for the information. Again, you can reach out to Wilson Police Department or reach out to us. We've got enough time for another case or two. Let's talk about Ryan Lee. Ryan Lee. This case is from April 2nd, 2008. Around 11:30 p.m., the Rocky Mount Police Department was dispatched to a person that was shot on Clark Street in Rocky Mount. Upon arrival, they found Ryan Lee, 16, who had succumbed to his injuries. After the investigation, it appeared that Lee was shot on Branch Street and ran around 2 blocks to his home where he collapsed. He died as a result of the gunshot. Again, Ryan Lee, April 2nd, 2008, 11:30 p.m., shot on Clark Street, 16 years old. Bad situation. Folks, if you know anything about this case, reach out to Rocky Mount Police Department, text a tip, call us, Twin County Crime Stoppers, anyone. Share what you know about this case, and let's bring some justice to this family. Let's see what else. Anything else you want to share with anybody?
I just would really like to say how humbled I am for all the support that came out and all the people that came out and voted for us. We're looking forward to moving the ball forward and to November, to the election, and hope we can capture that election there. And we're going to continue on the campaign trail now, and we're going to keep being a voice and advocate for the people of Southern Nash County. And we're going to try to keep things in front of our commissioners. And I ask that you please stay in tune and follow us on Facebook. And we're going to be communicating out there. There's a couple things coming up in the county that's very important. The budget talks are coming up for the 24-25 season here in July, so we need to be paying attention to that. They've raised the tax value or appraisal value of our property in Nash County, and they're going to be looking at the tax adjustment as well. And there's some conversations that they're looking to get around a 30% tax increase out of us instead of being net zero. So we need to pay attention to that and make our voices be heard at the local commissioner meetings. And then also we've got the completion of the demerger between Edgecombe and Nash County, and we need to be paying attention to that and be involved in that, making sure we put our children first. So there's a lot of things going on in the county, and it's going to go on whether we're there or not. And I think your voice needs to be heard, your concerns need to be heard. So please try to attend as many of the commissioner meetings as you can, and just get involved in your local government. It does impact you the most.
When they finalize this demerger, it's my understanding it's going to free up a lot of capacity of some schools, especially back towards Rocky Mount. That's correct. My understanding. Mm-hmm. And like we said earlier in the show, Alan Chester, Lisa Barnes, they helped secure what, $40 million?
$40 million for a new school.
For a brand new middle school. There's already talk that it might be placed somewhere, just speculation, 97 area, Highway 97, somewhere between Strickland Crossroads, maybe back towards Stanhope. Have you heard that rumor?
Somewhere in that area. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that would help offset some overcrowding issues back our way. And that'll kind of spill over back towards Rocky Mount, because their schools are going to, be...
They're going to be losing...
That's right, losing some students.
Mm-hmm. To Edgecombe.
So a lot of things going on here politically, government-wise in the next 12 to 18 months, a lot of things.
And you got to get involved and be in front of it, because once the decision's made, it's too late.
Yeah. Well, Freddie, I appreciate you coming. I have really enjoyed it. Congratulations on your win. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Thank y'all.